Today's Bible story is Joshua crosses the River Jordan. What's that, Francis John? You want to know what this is on my jumper? Well, it's called a poppy. Why am I wearing it? Well, I'm wearing it because it's a symbol of remembrance and also hope. What do I mean? Why a poppy? Why has it got a green leaf? Why do I want to remember? Hold on, Francis John. That's a lot of questions. Let's see if I can answer them. Well, between 1914 and 1918, many people lost their lives in the First World War. Poppies grew in the soil of the battlefields and became as symbols to remember those soldiers who had died. Today, my poppy helps me remember not just those soldiers, but those soldiers in the Second World War and other wars since. And the leaf? Well, the leaf makes me think about new life, and it's a symbol of hope and peace. Thinking of questions and things that help us to remember brings us to our Bible story today. Listen to what God asked Joshua to use to help the people remember. Are you ready for our story of Joshua crosses the River Jordan? Moses had been the leader of God's people, the Israelites, for 40 years after they had escaped from Egypt. Now Joshua was the leader, and God said it was time for him to lead God's people, the Israelites, across the River Jordan into a new land. God said to Joshua, "Tell the priests carrying the ark that when they reach the river, they must wade in." The ark was a special gold box that reminded Joshua and the Israelites that God was always with them. As soon as the priests stepped into the river, the water stopped flowing and piled up, and the people were able to cross over. While the people walked across on dry ground, the priest carrying the ark stood in the middle of the Jordan until all the people had crossed over. When the whole nation had crossed the Jordan, God said to Joshua, "Choose 12 men, one from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, and command them to take 12 stones out of the middle of the Jordan. Tell them to carry these stones with them and to put them down where you camp tonight." Joshua did what God said. Joshua set up the 12 stones, and he said to the people, "In the future, when your children ask you what these stones mean, tell them. Tell them that God dried up the water of the Jordan for you until you had crossed, just as he dried up the Red Sea for us. Because of this, everyone on earth will know how great God is." In our Bible story, we heard how God stopped the water flowing in the River Jordan so the people could cross without getting wet. Following God's instructions, Joshua got people to collect large stones from the riverbed and make a memorial to remind them of what God had done. A memorial that could be seen as people went past. A memorial that children would ask their parents about so they could hear the stories and learn them for themselves and know that God was there and would always be with them. I wonder, what things help you to remember what has happened in the past? You may like to close your eyes and think about something now. I'm going to say a prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer too, then please say amen at the end after me. Dear God, thank you that you were with Joshua and the people, just like you are with me today. Help me to ask questions so I can remember important things that have happened. Amen. What's that, Francis John? You were thinking of something else that reminds you to ask questions? What's that? The cross. It reminds you to ask questions about Jesus, to hear stories from the Bible, and also stories about what God is doing today. I agree, and I think that asking questions is a good way to help find out about what has happened so we can remember and tell others too. Well, thank you for joining us today for our story of Joshua crosses the River Jordan. We look forward to you joining us again soon. Goodbye and God bless.